I think that God should be better than us if there is a God. Hi, my name is Timmy Gibson, former fundamental evangelical, tongue talking, spirit filled, Holy Ghost rolling pastor. Spent 30 years actually as a pastor and a total of about 48 years as an evangelical Christian. And walked away about 6 years ago from that. And here to tell my deconstruction, reconstruction story through different other little stories and memories and funny stuff and all the different things that I like to share here. So, hey, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're joining me for the show. As I always say, cuss and discuss below. Also, like, subscribe, and do all that stuff that helps the channel, of course. All right, so I think there is no God. I believe there is no God. But if there was a God, especially the Bible God, don't you think that God would be better than us? I mean, that's like when I just think just simply, like if there was a benevolent, all powerful, all knowing God, he would be better than us, right? I mean, right? Okay, because if you gave me, and I would venture to say you, whether you're Christian or not, okay, if if I gave you, or if let's say there is a God, and he or she gave you all the powers of the universe, you were all powerful, you could do anything, okay, wouldn't you heal the children? I mean, so okay, I'm asking you a question that you clearly can't answer unless you comment below, so whatever, but I can't answer. Let's just say if I was given all the power of the universe, that's the first thing that I would do is heal all the children. That'd be like the first thing I would do. No cancer in children. I would provide clean water to the entire world, food for the entire world, right? Like I would just go ahead and just fix that. I would for sure fix all of the kids born, people born with mental illnesses or deformities or what, like I would just eradicate that. Okay, now, obviously I'm being facetious here in the sense of I'm being very truthfully, that's how I would do it. But when I think of the how Christian was like, well, but sin entered into the world and it corrupted God, blah, 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 all the stinking weird things that I used to say. Again, I feel uniquely equipped and qualified to make fun of the group that I spent 30 years as a pastor in. I can, because I don't feel like I'm an outsider looking in. I'm an outsider now per se, but I was an insider. So I got out of that cult. So I sure have the permission to be able to make fun of it and say whatever I want about it from my experience firsthand, being in that weird belief system that I find so absolutely nutty. Now, not all Christians are nutty. Not all Christian belief systems are nutty. There's so many different belief systems out there within Christianity. You know that. I don't need to go into that. But when I think about the Bible God, God that answers prayer, this and that, it's BS. Clearly, there's nobody answering prayers. Clearly, it is literally random. And I know this firsthand. I have prayed. Now I don't, at least not like that. I prayed for things all the time. And guess what happened? Sometimes it went the way I prayed, sometimes it didn't. Guess what? That's life. Like literally every Christian, every Hindu, every Muslim, every Buddhist, every spiritual person, everybody who has ever prayed a prayer gets the same results. Sometimes you get what you pray for, sometimes you don't. And then when you don't, you're like, you know what? That ended up being better than what I prayed for. So see, God answered my prayer. Like that's that. I'm agnostic, atheist as it relates to the Bible God, and I still have things that happen good in my life. I still want things, or I'm hoping for things, or I'm wishing for things, and I get it. I know it's not God, but there's other times that I don't get it. And I would say, well, that's the devil. The devil's trying to keep me from the way. I literally, when I think about the stuff that I used to believe as an evangelical Christian, I can't believe it. I can't believe some of the goofy, crazy stuff that I used to believe as fact. So you think if there's a God, I just have a question. Don't you think that if there's a God, he would be better than us? Right? Don't you think he any good person out there, if I made you God, or if you were made God, you would be better than the God of the Christians instantly, because you're probably a pretty good person. And that's the other fallacy, that people that leave Christian faith is because they want to live what am I trying to say? They want to live sinful. They want to do whatever they want to do. They don't want to be accountable. They want to be able to blah, blah, blah. They really weren't a Christian anyway. They really were. That is just so absolutely crazy. I didn't leave for just personally. I can tell you why I left, because it's BS. I left because it's not true. That's why I left. The more I researched, the more I really dug into it. I started going, wait a minute. This is so crazy. This isn't true. That's why I left. I didn't leave so I could do drugs. I didn't leave so I could live a wild life. I didn't leave so that I can sin. I didn't leave so I could live. I didn't leave for any of those reasons. I've said this before, and it just bears repeating. I live more moral now. As a non-believer, as an unbeliever, I live more moral now. And let's just be honest. Christians don't have the quarter market on morality. Just look around, man. Go to any church. Meet anybody you want to meet. They're just normal people doing whatever the heck they want to do, where they want to do it, with who they want to do it. It's like, I mean, it just is what it is. So, it's like you don't look at a church and like, wow, everybody's moral. Everybody's living upright. Everybody's honest. Everybody's charitable. Everybody's faithful. Everybody's whatever. No, that is not what you see anytime you look at a Christian group. What you see in a Christian group are people. That's what you see. You see people. Some people are good. And when I don't like the whole good, bad, but you know what I mean? Like some people are upstanding. Some people aren't. Some people are honest. Some people aren't. Some people are faithful. Some people aren't. Some people are charitable. Some people aren't. I mean, that like you take any slice of humanity, anywhere, any religion, of any whatever, and you're going to get the same pool of people. Like some people are addicted, some people aren't, some people are kind, some people are mean, some people are a-holes, some people are like that. I don't care if you slice out evangelical Christianity, take a slice of people, like it just is what it is. What was I talking about in this video? That's right, God. would be, don't you think, on a serious note, for real, like, don't you think God should be better than us, though? For real, like, honestly. I don't know why I'm in such a giggly mood. Don't you think, though, for real? Don't you think that God, if there is a God, which there's not, spoiler alert, there's not, Jesus isn't coming back. That's just not happening. All right. So if there is a God, don't you think that God should be better than us? Like, really? I mean, I think so. I think if there was a God, especially the God, again, the God I grew up believing in was a good, kind, caring God. You know, of course, then I read the Bible. I was like, that's not that's not the God in the Bible. But if the God that I believed in back then was good, kind, caring, all powerful, all knowing, all that stuff, you know, like a big teddy bear up in the heavens, don't you think that he or she should be better than us? Like, if if you were made God or if I was made God, the fact that we would be better than the God of the Bible actually is, which he doesn't exist, but you know, I'm trying to play along here. I mean, right? Like, why would God, why would, you know, I saw somebody recently, there was some storm that came through. it's, it's always a curious person when the news comes over and they do this. Hey, sir, uh, tell us about that tornado that hit your home. Well, I was standing there, but Jesus protected my cross. It was up on the mantle. It was up on the mantle after the tornado came through. It's just like, what? So don't you think? No, anyway, what I was going to say was I saw this interview, and this person was saying something like that, like the tornado shook our whole house, but the cross that we had up on the mantle didn't fall down, which was a sign from God. God was protecting us from the tornado. It leveled the whole neighborhood, and it leveled a lot of other Christians' home, and it, of course, tore their house to crap. But it just happened to leave the cross standing up, which was a sign for God. Like, I'm thinking to myself, this all powerful, all knowing, divine God that you believe in, that you pray to, came down out of the heavens, protected that cross up on the mantle. For what reason? I don't know. But then slaughtered all the rest of the neighborhood, killing men, women, children, pets. Like, what? It just, I guess partly what's going on in my brain lately is I can't believe I used to believe this crap, honestly. Like, I just can't believe that I used to believe some of the nuttiest things. I just, I'm still shocked by it. And again, the fact that you or I would be better than the Bible God that's apparently in charge, not doing a very good job. And I know that I can hear the evangelical Christians saying, well, God's actually not the God of this world. The devil is the God of this world. God's only the Lord of those who accept him. Okay, let's just take that logic for a second. You know, Christians, that God is the God of their world, and their world is a holy mess full of crap and confusion and anxiety and depression and nuttiness and loss and debt and like a bunch of crazy stuff. So, like, that doesn't even make any sense. Again, going with what I love, what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. You know, if you looked at a believer's life, like if you took a group of believers, and you're like, wow, man, they have money, they're healthy, they don't get sick, they don't get divorced, they don't have calamities, they don't have tragedies, they don't have disabilities. Like, I mean, God really seems to be working on behalf of his people. That's, I don't even like, you just look around. Like, just look around. There's no God protecting people, protecting Christians. And just, I mean, I've known Christians to say God is protecting me, and you're thinking, well, yeah, I mean that wow, that's cool. And then literally a year later, all of a sudden now God's not protecting them because their house burned to the ground. Like, he protected you last year, but he's not going to protect you this year. Why? Because it's random. Nobody on earth has just blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing after everything goes right for them all the time. Everything they want, they get that. No, no. Guess what? Eventually, everybody dies. Everybody. I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you pray in tongues. I don't care if you read your Bible. I don't care if you go to church. I don't care how many Hail Marys you do. I don't care. None of that stuff matters. Eventually, you're going to die. Eventually, I'm going to die. That's just the way it is. What matters is right now how we live. And I really do believe what matters a lot in this life is, what do you believe? And if there is a God, don't you think that this God would be better than you or I? Don't you think that this God could do a better job on earth than what's going on right now? And for me, there's one primary issue when I think about what's going on the earth. The abuse of women and children, that's one thing. And then sickness and disease with children. Like, that that to me, that issue alone just tells me there is no God. I tell you what, I know a Christian's thinking. Well, what that tells me is there's a devil loose. There's a devil working in this world, doing things. There ain't no devil. There's no devil. Now, do I believe in evil? Not. I don't believe in evil like spiritual evil. But I believe people can be evil, can be terrible, can be corrupt. Clearly, I mean, just hello, just look around. Clearly, people can be. And people can be good and kind and caring and benevolent and sweet. And like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of my friends, matter of fact, all my friends, really, they're super sweet people, very kind, very thoughtful, very compassionate. They're good people. Some are Christians, some aren't, right? But here's what for sure. All the Christians I've ever known weren't all good, and then all the people that were unbelievers that I knew were all bad. That's just 100% not true. I've had some good Christian friends and some really rotten Christian friends. I mean, some that are in prison today, some were pedophiles, some were, I mean, honestly, yeah. Like, there was a kid I grew up with in Bible college, and the whole 9 yards, right? This guy's in prison for life for pedophilia. Okay. Christian, Bible believing Christian. Okay. So they're okay. So I have some good Christian friends who are very good people. I really, really like them. And I have some rotten Christian friends that I know of that I used to be friends, I'm not friends with anymore. You know, and same thing. I know some non-believers that are really great people, and I know some non-believers that just not my cup of tea, right? Not that great people for me, right? That, but don't you think if God was really, really real, that it would be like, yeah, most all Christians are great people because they're believers in God. And God leads them and guides them and whispers in their ear, and they would tithe and give and support. And listen, now the pastors are listening to me going, man, you got it right there, Timmy. Do you know that in churches there's an 80-20 rule? 80-20 rule. It's a fact. I mean, it was true in my church. 80-20. 20% of the people are the only ones that give, support, volunteer, do the charity, all the stuff. 80% are just mooching. 80% of the people in a church are just moochers. They're there for the free message, the music, the free donuts, the free coffee, and the community. They're just takers. They take, 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 take. Only 20%. So that means in a church of 100 people, there's only 20 people carrying the weight for the whole church. And those are Christians. Those are Christians. That's you're narrowing down, like these are Bible believing, tongue talking, we love Jesus, we're going to heaven, like it's that those folks. Anyway, cuss discuss down below. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe. I have a Patreon. Also, I have a Facebook page. That's in the description on my YouTube channel. If you want to join a private page that I've created for non-believers, those going through the deconstruction process, those who are agnostic or atheist. And if you want to be a part of the fun that we do there, that's great. Don't be a hypocritical Christian and try to get in that group, because then you're just lying to get in, because you're not welcome. It's only for non-believers. And clearly, you'll stand out like a sore thumb anyway, and we'll delete your butt. All right. Peace, everybody.